Hi, Rabbi. I just saw another post today from another friend about Zionists and Zionism. What what is it about Zionism that is now it's a dirty word in so many people's mouths?
And it's become a litmus test. It's a loyalty test for some Jews, and it's a slur for others. It's really bizarre because in 1890, a journalist named Nathan Birnbaum coined the word Zionism, Zionist, and he defined it as a Jewish homeland where the word Zion, which is in Hebrew scripture, always refer to something at the end of time, a return to Zion, a return to Jerusalem, Er Shalom, the city of peace, when God establishes his kingdom on earth. It always was this metaphysical future. And he then took it and said, because of the pogroms, the anti Semitism, and the hate, Jews need a land, a place that they can go to be safe. And so he coined the word Zionism and Zionist. And it was really an innocuous term, uh, a homeland, a place for Jews to go. It was Theodor Herzl who then took the word and turned it into political Zionism. And at the first Zionist convention, it took off. At that time, Birnbaum was still alive, Joe. He renounced Zionism because he never envisioned it to be a political movement or grabbing land. He just thought it would be a place. He didn't, he said, he didn't say much about it. But Herzl turned it into political Zionism, which is what everyone is focusing on today. And that's why it's turned into a litmus test or a bad word, because it's not Zionism, it's politics, it's a country. And the country has policies that are not Jewish, and it has policies that are turning out to be self-destructive.
Jesus saying, render unto Caesar what is Caesar and render unto God what is God's. If you needed a better explanation about separation of church and state or what is material versus what is spiritual, you couldn't ask for better than that. And nobody says that anymore. Religion and politics seem to be lumped together as a necessary connection.
And what you're pointing out, Joe, is to get elected to office, you need to find something or someone. In the president's speech on the 4th of July, it's communism again. The communists are taking over. So now we have a boogeyman. Now we have a ghost, someone that we can rally around. And for those that are either anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, anti-Muslim, anti lots of things, you can rally around. Zionists are doing this. There's hateful people, the Zionists that, Zionists that. And let's pull the word Zionist out and say, I disagree with Israeli politics. And I believe that Judaism would survive without a political Israel or a smaller one. But as of now, it's a country. And Iran wants to continue to put missiles in Lebanon to attack Israel. That's totally unacceptable. No country in the known universe would allow an enemy nation to establish missiles on its border. Just look at the Cuban Missile Crisis. When the Russians tried to put missiles in an island off of America, we didn't stand for it. So Israel shouldn't stand for it because it's a country, but it has nothing to do with Zionism or Judaism. It's politics, Joe. It's politics.
Do Jews in this country need to have Israel? Do they need to support Israel? What's so bad if they disagree? There are so many people now and so many protests.
My reform movement officially was anti-Zionist for its first 50 years of existence in the United States. Orthodox Judaism supported the state of Israel. About 50, 60 years later, they flipped. Orthodox is against the founding of the state of Israel because only the Messiah can bring about a Jewish homeland, a Jewish homeland. That's the idea of the end of time, not a political place. And Reform Judaism started supporting political Zionism. And that's the dilemma we're caught in, Joe. is this political Zionism, is it necessary? And why do I have to support a country? Look, Ukraine is fighting for its survival. And when Russia invaded Ukraine, the rest of the world just turned their back and was willing to let Russia take Ukraine. Same thing Hitler did, baby stepping. Eventually, it would take all of Europe. And Europe woke up and realized it couldn't let Russia get away with taking Ukraine. Now they're helping Ukraine. Ukraine is standing up, and we're going to see more and more support and maybe a peace agreement because it's unacceptable to take other people's land or to send missiles or to destroy. All political. No one is saying, well, Ukraine is Eastern Orthodox, and therefore these people, it's a homeland for Eastern. No one's making that connection. I'm not recognized as a rabbi in my Jewish homeland. That's absurd. That's more than ridiculous. It's not a Jewish homeland. And they're rejecting Jews who want to come there and become citizens because they're not Orthodox enough. That's absurd. If it's to be a Jewish homeland, Joe, it should be for all Jews, not just for a select few. But that's not a reason to say it shouldn't exist or any of the other things that are being said. And it shouldn't be a litmus test because what we're doing is we're taking a country that's making political decisions for its survival, and then we're attaching a religious label to it, and we're fighting amongst ourselves.
Just to show how crazy that is, if you made a rule that said only rabbis or reves could be elected to office in Israel because they would understand the true meaning of being Jewish better than the soldiers and politicians would, what would the state of the country be then? It's not ever going to be easy, but what I think it really is going to be necessary is that we find a way to go back to drawing a line between what is faith, what is reality, what is do unto Caesar and do unto God. We have to figure out that you can't have both. You can't, just
Right.
like you can't save everybody all the time, you have to make very hard decisions.
And the starting point is for the American Jewish community to look at each other and say, gee, how are we going to do this? How can we have a political country? A country needs a strong army for both defense and offense. No country has ever existed on our planet that was solely pacifist. It just gets overrun. So an army is needed. Police are needed. Lots of things are needed. We need to figure out a way of how to maintain a middle of the road, a balance. And that's a lesson we don't seem to be learning because here in the United States, we're slipping down into not separating church and state. And the serious part is only one religion. This group says only one religion should be recognized, not all religion. And that just compounds the problem. Not only is there no separation of church and state, they're declaring only their church should be in charge of the United States. And historically, it doesn't have a good outcome, Joe.
Well, let's continue to be positive and, dare I say, pray for a solution that fixes everything. I'm not asking God for any favors. I'm just asking God for patience and wisdom to help me figure out what to do.
And we've said in the past, the problem is we're not listening to each other. I can get hits by being anti this, and I can promote hate and get 1 million followers. But that always leads to a disaster, Joe. It's time to look at each other and say, there are many different solutions. What can we work on together? How can we make this truly a country, the United States, where we have a separation of church and state?